Hey, Seth David here from the world famous Nerdenterprises Incorporated, bringing to you part 3 of extreme bookmarking, how to manage all of those apps. This time we're talking about an app called Bublup. Bublup is something I've only fairly recently been introduced to. I had seen somebody mention it in my Chris Brogan, owner insider of Mighty Network, which you saw in like 2 videos back. I kind of touched on it because it's one of my Mighty Networks that I access. And somebody in there, we were talking about productivity apps and things we use to keep track of things, and somebody mentioned Bublup, and it was just something I'd not heard of before under the heading of productivity and project management. So I got curious right away, checked it out, and here we are. Now I'm in love with it. This is, there's different headings that I kind of put apps under. One is it solves a problem I don't already have solved. Another one is it solves a problem better. And a third one is it's something I'm just playing with right now because I like it and I want to find ways to use it. And I would, at this point, put Bublup under that heading. It's something I love to play with, and I am starting to use it, especially if you want something that's more visual for kind of bookmarking. But you can also put files in here. You can do all kinds of things with Bublup. So let's open up our minds. Let's take a look at something a little different than what we're used to seeing, but I'll show you how you can set Bublup up to track all your apps and things that you need to access, including your client files and other things, on a regular basis. So let's take a look at my screen here. And as you can see, I'm at the home screen here. I've got folders across here. In fact, at one point, because Bublup lets you do this, I imported all of my bookmarks from Chrome. This was a while ago, so it's not entirely up to date, right? And so like this is one thing I've done, which is fun. I created a bookmark section for emojis. And so these are emojis. I obviously write a lot of content, and I frequently use emojis. I love them. They're fun. And so sometimes I use these just as a quick way to get into the Emojipedia website. So even though I may not want the flying saucer, I'll double-click it just to get in here. And maybe there's something else. Maybe I need like a flag. So I'll search for flag. And there, let's say I want to do like the golf flag thing. And I can do one of two things. I can copy the emoji, right? And if I do that and paste it in here, I think that's just going to paste the actual emoji in and not the link. Yeah, so that's not how we want to do it because I really want the link that takes me to this page. Let me just confirm to send that to the trash. So what I really want, there's 2 ways I can do it. I can copy the URL like I had shown you previously when I was showing you this with Mighty Networks. Or when you install the Bublup extension, right, which is there, it puts this little tool thing here. And if it's getting in the way, you can always exit out and it's easy to bring back later. But this allows me from any web page to add this page, save to Bublup. And I love this, and it just makes it really easy. So I can just click it, save it to a review later, and then I can easily move it from there, or I can browse, right? So I can right there is emojis because that's it's a recent folder, so that's the obvious thing, and Bublup is smart like that. So it let me save it directly into there, and sure enough, when I come back here, here it comes, right? So now the next time I need a flag emoji, I just click over. I can click copy and paste that emoji into whatever document, email, or whatever it is that I'm working with. So that's one example. The other thing you might do is, let's say I go into Nerdenterprises Inc. and I'll go into active clients. Okay. And so these are the folders I've set up just playing around so far with, the clients that I work in, right? And so just to give you a quick idea, and of course I'll blur out any sensitive information, but let's click onto this client. And this is a client that I've been hired to do some Airtable work for. So I've got these folders for different projects I'm working on for them. But down here I've got notes that I've made while I'm working on it. This is a link that I've included here, which if I double click it will take me right into the new base that I'm setting up for them in Airtable. This link takes me to the original database, the one I'm sort of repurposing, right? And so this comes in really handy, and here was some notes I took from a phone call that I did with the client where I took detailed notes about, important information that I needed to know about in terms of what I needed to make sure we were able to accomplish, right? And so all this stuff is in here, and of course, as you've already seen, if I wanted to get in here quickly from the home screen, I don't have to browse through that whole structure. All I have to do is type the client's name in here, and pretty much in 2 seconds, I can get into the folders, right? So, and it organizes the search result. First, it gives you folders, then it gives you things directly to the items, right? So I'll go right into the folder, and there I am, right back to that client's folder. So, as I mentioned before, one of the keys to Bublup is that it does have really good search. And then you can build in your own sort of hashtagging system by simply including the hashtags in either the title or the description of any of these, right? So this is a folder, and I can put, a hashtag down here in the description. If I'm looking at a note, let's create a new note, and let's test this because I haven't actually tried this. So let's create a new note, and let's say I had a Mighty Networks community for them. So let's go Mighty Networks, right? Mighty, I'll put client name. Right, I'm curious if this will come up on a hashtag search for Mighty Networks from the home screen. Let's go back home. It's going to bring up recent searches, right? Hashtag Mighty Networks. Okay, and sure enough, that note does come up, right? So that works beautifully. And I can click on here, and it'll take me right there. Or as I had shown you, if that was set up as a note, what I would in fact do, as I had illustrated previously, is I would actually just create a link directly to their Mighty Network community. And that way, from the search results, I could click straight out into that community. So when you click on that icon, it actually takes you there, within Bublup, that is. If I click just directly on the search result, boom, it launches me right into, in this case, I clicked on SethWorks, right? So there's lots of things you can do, but the beauty of this, what I really love about this, and by the way, the mobile app for this is amazing, very seamless experience with the mobile app on this. But the beauty of this is how easy it is to get information into here. So if I'm clipping an article, right? So let's say I'm reading something on Forbes. Let's go to we'll use my browser bookmarks for a minute and go to Forbes. And let's just find an article. Something interesting. So here, Formula One's highest paid drivers. Right? Let's say I'm actually interested in reading this. Some of you might be. Right? I'm not a big car racing fan. I find it very boring, but that's just me. Let's wait for the page to load. Here we are. So Bublup. We're going to add this to save it to Bublup. And here it comes. And I don't want to spend time organizing this now, so I'm going to save it to review later. Okay? All right, and then I'm going to close out of this. And then here's my review later queue. Now watch how cool this is. So let's say now I want to organize it into something, right? So I'm going to duplicate my Bublup tab. This is cool. I've not seen I don't know if I've seen any other cloud apps that can do this. But you can drag and drop between tabs. Okay, so I'm going to dock this on my left. We'll dock this on the right. Let's go home. Okay, and let's say I just have a folder here for articles, right? Create a new folder. Articles. And let's find a cool picture to use for that folder. So we use Pexels. Pexels is great because they have a lot of royalty-free, just free images that you can use. Okay, and I'll expand this for a minute. And it looks like I'm logged in. I like to do that because then it keeps track of the images I've downloaded in case I ever need them again. And I'll just search for the word articles. I don't need to be too picky here. It's really just for my use, right? And here, that one looks nice. I'll take the free download. I can say thanks. I'll do that later. I'll just stick this image in my drive folder. And what I usually do with these is I just name it based on the term I use to find it. So I kind of categorize it that way, and then I leave this information in so that I can actually give credit where credit's due, right? And then we'll close this. Okay, and then I'll right-click Articles and choose Edit, Upload. Stuff is really easy to do, and it's fun because you should have fun with it, right? I'll go to My Drive. And I know if I start typing articles, I should find it pretty quickly. There it is. You don't have to worry about resizing or reducing the size. Bublup, rather, will take care of that for you. All right. Stuff I want to read later. Save. Now watch this. So here's my review later window that I had. I'm going to move this to my other screen so it's a little easier to see. But trust me, I'm going to take the article that I had saved in review later on that window. And let's go into articles. And I'm just going to drag it from that other window. I've tried doing this like between Google Drive folders. Doesn't work. You can't drag files that way between Google Drive folders. And I've tried a few other apps. I'm sure, where the nature of it was that, you should be able to, in my opinion. Right? And now I can drag a couple more articles that I actually have in there that I want to read. And there you go. And of course, if you wanted to further subcategorize and group the articles in terms of, your interests, you can do that. But that's enough for us for now. I think you get the idea. So again, one of the things that I really like about this is the ease of use, the ease with which I can grab a link from anywhere and quickly add it into Bublup. If you're browsing on your mobile app, then from any screen that you're looking at, any screen that has a share option, you can share to Bublup and then save it into your review later so that you can organize it later on. So this, my friends, is a cool little system for how you can track, all of the different apps and links. You can, as I showed you, you can create a folder for your client, and in that folder you can put the links to all the different apps and things that you use. So right to your client's Google Drive location, right to anything that you use with that client. You can organize it here very easily that way. So Bublup is really cool. If you're a visual person, you're probably going to like this solution. If you're more of an analytic linear person, you're probably not going to love this solution. In which case, stay tuned, because coming up next, we are going to look at Airtable. And Airtable, maybe one of the best options for this kind of thing, although wait till you see ClickUp, because I got a pretty cool solution for you there. And then, of course, there's NoteJoy also coming up. So, and the Brain is in between there somewhere. So stay tuned, look for the next video in this series, and you'll get to explore yet another way of keeping track of all of those apps so that you don't have to be overwhelmed for how to manage them.